not working with the private parties who have brought their own cases, but obviously the claims are very similar. We felt that Washington State had some unique interest at the state, and it is my job as the Attorney General of the state of Washington to defend not only the United States Constitution, but the Constitution of the state of Washington, and to protect our people. And so bringing a case with Oregon and Arizona and Illinois we thought was appropriate, but obviously working in collaboration with other states, and those cases will move forward as the days come.
Attorney General, what do you think this message sends to those migrant families, those children who are being born today and going forward?
Well, first and foremost, I hope people are reassured that we will not shy away from taking on tough fights, that we will not shy away from taking action against illegal actions by the President of the United States or anyone else. This is step one. We have a long way to go. There are many other orders that are being issued by the President that will have potential impacts on people. But we are really relieved, frankly, that at least this court has seen the blatant unconstitutional action of this president, and now we're back to the status quo. We're back to the rule that has been the law of this land now for generations, that you are an American if you were born in the United States. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so some big news coming out of Washington State here, and we'll wait. We know that President Trump will make some reaction to this news. But again, if you're just joining us on Live Now from Fox, a federal judge temporarily blocking President Donald Trump's order ending the constitutional guarantee of birthright citizenship here. So again, we will continue to follow this major breaking story right here for you on Live Now from Fox. The U.S. District Judge ruled in the case brought by the states of Washington, Arizona, Illinois, and Oregon, which argue the 14th Amendment and Supreme Court case law have cemented birthright citizenship. You are watching Live Now from Fox, everyone. We do have one more break to get to in this hour, so we'll take it right now here on Live Now. We're also keeping an eye on Capitol Hill, awaiting a bill signing with Speaker Mike Johnson on the Laken-Riley bill. That is coming up in just moments, and we're also going to be bringing you a Fox News World exclusive on the ICE raids out in Boston. Some big video to share with you. We'll be back in just moments on Live Now. And welcome back, everyone, here to Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Pace. Thanks again for joining us. As always, we do want to go out to some more breaking news that we are getting into our newsroom, everyone. So we go out to San Antonio right now for a shooting update that happened late last night, where a suspect that was killed during a shootout that injured 7 San Antonio police officers. Let's listen in.
He's expected to survive, and he was taken nearby to SAMC. We did search the area. Some information was developed, and we did go into a couple of rooms here and found some possible witnesses. So we do believe that the area is secure and there's nobody in current danger, or the community right here in the immediate area is not in danger. The suspect did flee. We don't have a lot of information on the suspect yet. The victim is a 41-year-old male, and he's being treated right now at the hospital.
We saw 4 or 5 individuals handcuffed. Are they witnesses or suspects?
We don't know for sure. We just know that was a room that they came out of that was a concern for us. They answered the door and they cooperated with us. So it's early in the investigation right now. So the homicide detectives, I'm sure we'll be talking with them to see what they know.
Being detained for questioning?
Yeah, we don't know what role they have exactly in this shooting. We don't know if they're witnesses or suspects, but they are important to this investigation.
Was there a weapon recovered, Sergeant?
We haven't fully searched the area or the place for evidence yet. We're trying to make that determination if we need a warrant or not.
Were you able to find a scene? Was there cases or something?
Yeah, we did find some evidence of a shooting with some casings. We do have some video evidence here as well that we're looking at.
From what you could tell us, that it happened in one of these rooms or outside?
It's a combination of inside and outside.
Do we know what caused the shooting itself?
At this point, we do not. We do not know what caused the shooting.
You said you were looking for a male?
It's hard to determine right now based on the video evidence, but it's possible that it's a male. Can't really say much more than that.
Sarge, can you tell us a little bit about this location? Is it known for criminal activity?
I don't know exactly any details about this location. It's a 4600 block of Ritterman. It's a 3-story hotel. I really can't give you a history on it.
Sergeant, when we first got here, they were saying that maybe the victim may have been naked. Did he run out naked?
I didn't hear. To treat him, but I did not hear that he was naked when we arrived.
I was just trying to picture he was trying to escape. Scene, run to the lobby.
No, he came over here for help to the office, and the office called it in, called the police, and he remained in that area. When the police arrived a couple of minutes later.
Inside the lobby or outside?
We believe he was outside the lobby, and he was after he told the person in the lobby, he just remained outside the lobby until the police came. At least one time. I don't know exactly where. The arm. There's several people that we detained, so I'm not sure, they're if they're cooperative or not right now. I don't know what they're saying. they're just being held right now until we figure it out.
Was he transported to Dempsey? Or
Yes, it was transported to Dempsey. It appears the shooting happened at the end of this, on the first floor right here, a couple of rooms from the end. The shooting happened around that room, like maybe the second room from the last, going down this side of the building. Again, it was a combination of outside, inside. Yes, it was more than one. I can't say how many. We did not believe anybody else is hurt. At this point, all we know is that he fled on foot.
You don't know if the suspect is victim injured?
We do not know that yet exactly. Just that the suspect was wearing all black. He appeared to be fairly tall and skinny or thin.
We don't know if he was taken or not.
We did not know that yet. He's familiar with this place, and he's been around this area before. He's known to the people here at the hotel. I can't say that. I just know that he's been on the premises before, you know, and the people know him.
Why are the other people like witnesses
Just based on video evidence, you know, just looking at some footage, it appears that these people may have seen something at the very least. We haven't totally searched the rooms yet. Just waiting for to see if we need a warrant or not.
Last thing, sorry. Is ACS here for anything related to this?
Yeah, there was a dog found where the victim was shot. So the Animal Care Services is taking that dog right now.
Perfect. Thank you, Sergeant.
Okay, you're welcome.
A terrible situation that happened late last night out in San Antonio. Those officers are expected to be okay. The suspect is dead, but yeah, a very difficult situation for that department that is dealing with that right now. You are watching Live Now from Fox, everyone. I am your host, Mike Page. Always great to be with you as we continue to bring you live feed after live feed. Coming up here in just moments, we will be taking you out live to Nashville, Tennessee, to get an update on the tragic school shooting that turned deadly yesterday. And we'll be getting a fresh update for you on that. As soon as that gets going, we will bring that to you here on Live Now from Fox. We're also keeping an eye on Capitol Hill, where we are awaiting Speaker Mike Johnson to sign the Laken-Riley Act. That will be coming down the pipes here very soon as well. In the meantime, fresh this hour, we do want to bring you a Fox News exclusive. This is from Bill Malugin reporting on the ICE raids captured on video out in Boston. Let's show you that. Again, this is Bill Malugin with Fox News in this exclusive.
It's a frigid 5 degrees in the pre-dawn hours just outside of Boston, where this team of elite ICE officers is briefing on their targets for the day.
We're going to be targeting some extremely violent offenders today.
Within moments, the officers are on the move, with eyes on their first target.
Looks like we got movement, target vehicle coming out.
They quickly take him into custody. He's an MS-13 gang member wanted in El Salvador for aggravated murder. And he has an Interpol red notice out for his arrest.
We are targeting very violent threats to our community.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
One of those threats is this illegal alien from Haiti. ICE says he's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions, in recent years.
Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
ICE Boston quickly takes down its next targets, including this illegal alien from Brazil who has an Interpol red notice for armed robbery. This Salvadoran illegal alien charged locally with rape and released by a sanctuary jurisdiction.
Señor, ¿cómo se llama?
And this Dominican illegal alien charged sanctuary policies. And in a sign of shifting priorities with the new Trump administration, this man, who was in the same apartment as the target, was also arrested after ICE determined he's also in the U.S. illegally. This is what ICE calls collateral.
So you guys got your main target just now, but you got somebody else. What just happened?
So our main target was released by a sanctuary jurisdiction, not honoring a detainer. That person was released back into the community, and when we went to go find him, he's with somebody else who was previously removed from the United States. So he's going to go today, too.
And that is exactly what Border Czar Tom Homan has warned would happen.
When we find the bad guy, he's probably with others that are in the United States illegally. They may not be a criminal priority, but we're not walking away from them.
ICE Boston says they will continue to go into sanctuary jurisdictions and do their job.
Today was a good day. Today we took several significant public safety threats out of our communities. Unfortunately, a lot were released by sanctuary policies, but we're here to tell the Commonwealth and the rest of the country that we're going to find them whether they're released or not.
Right, again, Fox News' Bill Malugin with that report there and that ride-along with elite agents with ICE out in Boston. And I do want to show you just some reaction from this reporting. Vice President J.D. Vance saying an illegal alien with 17 criminal convictions really hates President Trump for sending him back to Haiti. He's grateful to Biden for letting him come here. I'm glad we're deporting him. Do you agree, or would you like him as your neighbor there? So Vice President J.D. Vance getting in on the report as well. All right, everyone, we will take a 2-minute break, our first one of the hour. We are keeping an eye out in Nashville for a update to the horrific school shooting that happened yesterday. More on Live Now when we come back in just moments. Welcome back, everyone. Here live now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Page, as we continue to bring you more breaking news. Let's go out to Nashville right now, where we are getting the latest update from officials on the school shooting that happened yesterday. Let's listen in on Live Now from Fox.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I want to extend our deepest sympathies to the Antioch High School community. This is another tragic incident of gun violence in Nashville, and another that has impacted our young people. Also extend our sincere thanks to the first responders and mental health professionals who responded immediately to the crisis to support Antioch High School. And in response to that, today I'm joined by a few key leaders for an important announcement related to the recovery effort. Here with me today are Dr. Adrian Battle, our Director of Metro Nashville Public Schools, Hal Cato, the CEO of the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee, and Director Chief William Swan from our Metro Office of Emergency Management. And I know we've got School Board Chair Frida Player in the room with us as well. Nashville is a community of extraordinary generosity, as we have so many times in the past. We've seen and felt a tremendous outpouring of support from Nashville residents who want to do something to show love to everyone impacted by events like this, and now specifically the shooting at Antioch High School on Wednesday. In the hours since the shooting, Metro has joined Metro Schools.
In our family, there was a passion for glassmaking that's passed down.
Vestiaire Collective. Can you
on our Nashville.gov website. Metro Schools has set up a relief center at the Southeast Community Center in Antioch all day today to provide food and counseling services to families in need. They'll be open there until 7 p.m. tonight, and again tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Our Metro Public Health Department is also ready to help at multiple locations. They've got counseling available to walk-in clients today at both our Woodbine Public Health Center and also at the clinic on Oriole Avenue. Those sessions are available in both English and Spanish. The East Public Health Center and the Lentz Public Health Center are also available for walk-in appointments. Now, in Nashville, when tragedies happen, we know how resilient this community is and how we all step up to help. This makes all of us second responders to a tragedy, and that spirit of togetherness is inspiring. It's also important to acknowledge, whether you were at Antioch High School yesterday or not, please take care of yourself. To the best of your ability, take care of others, especially if you notice that they might be in crisis. When help is needed, seek it. There are so many great resources available, the ones I just mentioned, as well as our statewide mental health crisis hotline, available no matter whether you are in Nashville or elsewhere, 988. It's already encouraging to have heard from the number of individuals stepping up to help the Antioch community, and a lot of residents here and elsewhere want to contribute. And today, a new fund is active through the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee for anyone to contribute to support the students, parents, staff, and community impacted by the events of yesterday. The Nashville School Violence Support and Healing Fund is a new charitable fund that addresses school mass violence incidents on school grounds or during school events in Davidson County. The fund will support students, faculty, and their families who are directly impacted by these tragedies, including those killed, physically injured, or emotionally traumatized. The fund is now open and actively raising money to assist victims of the Antioch High School shooting. To make a donation, anyone can go online to cfmt.org/Nashville Healing or reach it directly from the homepage, cfmt.org. Now I want to introduce Dr. Adrian Battle for a look at additional resources and updates for the community from Metro Nashville Public Schools. Dr. Battle, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mayor O'Connell. Also, thank you to our school board members, board member Player and Block, who are in attendance this afternoon, to all of our council members, to the Community Foundation, MNPD, the Fire Department, and other first responders. A special thank you to the Antioch High School administration, to the students, to the faculty and staff for everything, the families for everything they did yesterday in our response and as we're responding moving forward. We're going to do everything we can to support our students, our families, and our staff during these extremely difficult times. As the mayor mentioned, we have opened up a community assistance site at the Southeast Community Center. It will continue to be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Today and tomorrow. We are providing grief counseling services, hot meals, food boxes, and receiving feedback around other needs from our school community. We've already heard from so many community partners and individuals that want to know how they can help. This community fund will be an important way to support the families of the victims who are grieving this tragedy, as well as the entire Antioch High School community who could use some additional support over the coming weeks and months as they process this event. These are heartbreaking days for all of us as educators, for everyone at Antioch High School. Quite frankly, this is a nightmare for us. We already know that this reinforces how important it is for us to know our students, build relationships, and foster trust. Our students need us. We know that after an event like this, tensions are high, and many rumors have been circulating about threats to other schools. Please know that we continue to work closely with MMPD to investigate all threats. We ask parents and students and community members that if they see something, say something to a trusted adult, such as a school administrator or the police, but not to circulate or spread rumors that can cause fear and panic across the community. Our schools have historically been safe, and we'll keep trying every day to make them even safer. I have been in close contact with the mayor, MMPD leadership, district leaders, our school board, and our school safety and operations teams. Antioch school leadership and others regarding what happened at Antioch High School, what we need to do to support students and staff in the short term, and what steps we can take in the future to add to our existing safety protocols. While we have some next steps regarding safety at Antioch and across the district, we are still working to firm up our plans and will announce once those details are finalized. We are grateful to everyone in our community who is supporting our students, our families, our faculty, and our staff. We thank you. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Hal Cato, CEO of the Community Foundation.
I had sincerely hoped after we had to do this less than 2 years ago at another school that we would not be back in this place talking about activating a fund like this, but here we are. As of yesterday, my team at the Community Foundation has activated the new Nashville School.
Over to Tax Network USA, 800-357-1415. If you have any questions about back taxes or even moving up to April 15th, this group right here will help you along the way. 800-357-1415. Let's move on now to our next sponsor. I believe that will be Angel Paste or Bright Core. Let's see what's next on there. There it is, Bright Core. So let's go to mybrightcore.com. Of course, this is Kimchi One. This product here is something that is great for health. The owner, Kim Bright, all about Maha, all about MAGA. All you have to do is reach out to them at mybrightcore.com/RSBN. If you buy two, you get one free. Great sponsor, great product as well. Kimchi One, Bright Core right there. Let's go to Angel Paste as well. Angelpaste.com. You can get 10% off of this product right here, made, of course, in Spring, Texas. They hire military veterans, and we hear it is a great product as well. There are other products on angelpaste.com to check out as well. So again, RSBN promo code for 10% off. It's about 2:18. Let's go back to Christina Loren, who is live for us right now. We see the live picture of the White House. Christina will be going inside the Oval Office there on a live video feed to listen and watch President Trump sign some executive orders. Let's talk about a few more executive orders that he signed. One is that he is going to reconstruct and start the building of the wall once again. Your thoughts?
I think that's an outstanding decision, and unfortunately they had to go and get a lot of the border wall parts at the actual steel to make the wall. President Biden decided in the last 11th hour to sell that highly valuable steel for pennies on the dollar. And so President Trump was able to reclaim quite a bit of that. But what's so interesting is that's how the Mexican drug cartels were able to get their drugs, their human trafficking operations underway. And what's terrible is where that border wall was opened, in parts of Arizona, in parts of Texas, the Mexican drug cartels were strategically located on the mountainsides. They were radioing each other, one another all the time, as people would sneak over that wide open strip of land and smuggle in fentanyl. And what's unfortunate is a lot of our ranches, our great ranches, are located right there on the border. And so for our ranchers who all they're trying to do is work their cattle, they had to look out for their lives every time they went out there to check on their cattle. And fentanyl, just a super highway for fentanyl coming through, their lives were threatened. I had a chance to speak to quite a few ranchers about how dangerous it had become. One rancher told me that there was actually a battle for their land between two different factions of the Mexican drug cartel. And so this is not the way that this country is supposed to operate. This isn't right. Our farmers and ranchers work so hard to provide us with healthy, safe food. And the fact that they had to deal with this, they've had to deal with it for the past 4 years, ever since day one, when President Biden stepped into office. It's a travesty for what they've had to go through. So to see these changes, to see that border wall where it was wide open, finally being fixed, it's going to take some time still. But believe me, the Mexican drug cartels know that President Trump is sending our troops to the border to protect those areas. In the meantime, things are already safer in that region. And I'm grateful to God that these guys who work so hard, men and women who live and work and farm along the southern border, aren't going to have to be living in fear any longer.
Let's go from one EO to another executive order. Let's talk about that. You were talking about the drug cartels. President Trump now classifying or naming drug cartels as a terrorist organization. Your thoughts, Christina?
I think it's brilliant. I really do, because drug cartels are working in conjunction. Mexican drug cartels are known to be working in conjunction with China. China is able to ship over the precursor chemicals to make fentanyl. No problem. They can export it right to the shores of Mexico. And then the Mexican drug cartels press those pills, and then they pack up their mules and they send them across the border. And so, yeah, this is terrorism. Fentanyl kills Americans. It's taking not just lives, it's taking the livelihoods of the people who get addicted. It's a highly addicted substance. And unfortunately, people get addicted, they get hooked, and all of a sudden, all the things that once gave them purpose, everything that once gave them a will to live, it just it dies down. And I don't know if you've seen some of these areas in San Francisco where you're allowed to go and take the fentanyl. These people look like zombies because it's that powerful of a drug. And obviously addiction is a very sensitive topic, and my heart goes out to anybody who's ever dealt with it or who's dealing with it. But we don't need to be exacerbating the problem by letting these drugs flood into our country and claiming the next generation of Americans.
The Lindell Recovery Network comes to mind. That great interview that you had with the great Mike Lindell in Washington, D.C. What a great interview that was. Let's shift now to the states here north of the border. We'll look at North Carolina, California, and Nevada. President Trump confirming the other day that he'll be traveling Air Force One from D.C. to Western North Carolina. Let's stop there for a second. Christina, you were there in Western North Carolina doing great coverage for us. But at the end of the day, the coverage, other than, okay, that is good stuff, it was more about the fact that you interviewed owners of businesses, you saw the damage, you reported it, and kept it in the news cycle because we know that the government of the past just didn't care.
Yeah, it's truly unfortunate. And the fact that we learned, in reflection, looking back in hindsight, that FEMA was actually moving past houses that had Trump signs in front and giving relief to those that didn't. It's just a heartbreaking situation because politics should not come into play when you're recovering from a natural disaster, especially when roads have been washed away, houses have been washed away, and people are given a very small sum of money to help them get back on their feet when they lost everything, to the tune of maybe $800 when they lost the house that they grew up in, memories that they can never get back. not to mention the physical structure that kept them and their families safe. It is so disappointing to know that some of those FEMA dollars were going to help people don't even live in this country get across the border and set them up in hotel rooms, and people were given credit cards and people were given phones instead of helping Americans in need. This is I mean, it's not going to look good for President Biden when we go back and read the history books, not to mention everything that's going to be uncovered about him and what he's done, because President Trump isn't going to let that go. I recently read a headline that said that President Trump said he wondered why President Biden didn't pardon himself, and maybe he should have. So there is a lot of, I see it as corruption. That to me is corruption. When you're helping people come across the border who don't rightfully belong here, possibly in an effort to get new voters on board, instead of helping Americans in need after a hurricane, that's a real problem. That is corruption, as I would define it.
100%. The corruption needs to go. Draining the swamp needs to happen. As you take a live look there at the White House, RSBN host Christina Loren joining us live. I'm Matthew Alvarez here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. We heard from our RSBN host Robert McNeely just yesterday at our Rumble Studios in Washington, D.C. He's on his way back here to headquarters. But also, Christina, I just want to say that we know that in just a few minutes, we're going to see executive order after executive order signed inside that Oval Office. It's going to be great to see that. We were just talking about Western North Carolina. Let's now shift over to President Trump's second trip, which is coming up very soon. So North Carolina's tomorrow. Then he'll be going to Los Angeles for the wildfire situation, which is obviously terrible. And then he'll go on to Nevada to thank supporters there. Don't know specifically what days and times that's happening yet. We do know North Carolina is tomorrow. Can you talk to us about Southern California a little bit? I remember we talked about you worked in the Bay Area as a meteorologist, but you're from Southern California. Can you talk to us about the whole mismanagement of that situation?
Absolutely. You think about it this way, and it really is put into perspective. If you are to let your garden go untended, your garden's going to grow wild. It's going to grow, and then those weeds will die, and then they'll just sit there. California, Southern California, many parts of the federal lands, that is the scenario that we're dealing with. And you have overgrown, dead forest that hasn't been cleared out for years and years and years. And the reason why is to protect a species like a frog instead of looking out for human lives. And so what happens is a little spark and you get a massive blaze. And that could come from a dry lightning spark. It could come from somebody who, with malicious intent, who just, all they have to do is drop a match. But what happens is, because that land is completely untamed, the fire spreads rapidly. When you get the Santa Ana winds, what happens is they pump from land to sea and they dry out along the way. So typically we get what's called an onshore flow. That cool, moist ocean air moves onshore and it keeps everything moist, and it makes it difficult for these fires to spread. But when you have the Santa Ana winds blowing, and those winds are whipping 40 miles per hour sustained, going from land to sea, drying out along the way, all of that area of dead forestry just dries out. It's like a tinderbox. And so what's interesting is public lands, people who have maybe 5, 10, 15, 100 acres out there, they maintain their lands. The private landowners make sure that their land is tended to. You don't have that overgrowth. Because when a fire is ignited, they know that they're in danger. Well, the federal government on the public lands has just been letting these massive areas grow out. And they've been told for years and years and years by members of Congress on the Republican side. I worked a lot with the Western Caucus. They made sure to make it abundantly clear that this is a problem. Our overgrown forests are a threat. And Gavin Newsom and those who are in charge in California, they never did anything about it. They protected the frog or the Delta smelt instead of adding more storage, because another issue in California is water. And the Colorado River does provide a lot of the water for Southern California. But the reservoirs, we don't have enough. We just don't have enough collection in California. And so if you get a good rain and it rains maybe, 6 inches up to 8 inches worth of rain, a lot of that just washes right back out into the ocean instead of having the reservoirs that we need in order to store that water in times of drought. Now, what's tough about that is they don't want to build new reservoirs because it could interrupt the Delta smelt. The egg laying process for the Delta smelt and the Delta smelt trying to get from one body of water to another. So it's a very unhumanistic way of looking at approaching policy. They're putting frogs and they're putting fish before people. And it's been a problem for a long time, and Republican lawmakers have raised their hand and they've held hearings and they've said, hey, this is a problem. You're just asking for it. And they were ignored. And so something like this has to happen, unfortunately, devastatingly, in order for politicians in California to wake up and say, oh, well, maybe we'll do this. And you know what they'll do? They'll take credit for it. If they do add more storage capacity, or if they do start to clear out the forest, they're going to take credit like, oh, we prevented that forest fire, because that's how they operate in California, unfortunately.
And that's why it's going to be great to see President Trump on his way to Los Angeles to hopefully take care of business. Great points there. RSBN host Christina Loren live for us right now as we're looking at the White House there. And producer, can you let me know, are we seeing a feed from inside to the Oval Office yet? And if we could stay on the split screen for now as we get ready for this Oval Office executive order signing by President Trump. We don't know how many executive orders are going to be signed, but we will be there live to cover it with you right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. So we're hearing that there is not a feed inside the Oval Office yet. So what's happening most likely right this second inside the West Wing there is the press is being allowed into the Oval Office. They're getting all set up. And then once the president is ready to appear, whether he's already there at the Resolute desk, we'll be getting that live feed right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. So, producer, if we could please keep us on this 3-shot so we can keep an eye there on the White House and any feeds coming in, that'd be great. As we look at the bottom of the hour here, Christina, we were also talking about a lot of the inauguration coverage as well. Your thoughts, as we are only, I believe it's, 72 hours? It seems like it's been 3 years that President Trump's been in office.
I mean, just judging by the work that he's been able to accomplish in comparison to the amount of work that Joe Biden actually got done, you're exactly right. You know, I had a chance to kind of look around online, and Kid Rock gave RSBN a shout out. I thought that was really cool on his Instagram page. And then Conor McGregor actually posted some video from one of the galas that we were hosting. And so, you know, RSBN, we work so hard. It's a relatively small staff in comparison to these mainstream media organizations, but what a big splash RSBN made during Inauguration Week. So that was really exciting. Something else that President Trump did, which I think is brilliant, is he got us out of the terrible deal with the Paris Climate Accords. That was so smart of him to do. We're just funneling money, and India and China continue to pollute without regard. Here in the United States, we have 4.5% of the world's population. In India and China, closer to 18%. They continue to pollute. They have no remorse. And yet we were supposed to be holding up the clean emissions rules and the standards and paying money to clean up the climate when we're not even moving the needle on climate change. President Biden was all talk and no action. He lied to us so many times. For example, when he decided to pardon his son at the very end of his term after telling us he wasn't going to. The Democrat Party, if they're ever going to rebound from this administration, it is going to take them a very long time, which is a good thing for Republicans, because I do think we're going to be able to maintain control, not just for the next 4 years with President Trump. His legacy will stand. People are going to be able to see everything that he can accomplish. And who knows who's going to come in as his successor? Maybe J.D. Vance. Who knows at this point? It's still far too early to tell. No matter what, though, Republicans could be talking about maintaining control for the next 4 years, plus 4 more, making it 8 years. And we could go on all the way to 12 years. But the Democrats have done so much bad. It is going to take a long time for them to be able to regain the public's trust. And the media, the mainstream media, we're going to have to watch and see how they go forward, because I think for some outlets, they're going to try to butter their bread with being rude to President Trump. That's how they've gotten viewership in the past. We're going to have to wait and see what they do, but they would be smart. They would be very wise to start to pay attention to what the American public is looking for if they want to stay in business.
The revolution of common sense is happening in America, to your point, Christina. Great to see that. The reform of the United States is happening before our eyes. Literally seeing these promises made by President Trump on the campaign trail as you traveled from coast to coast, and along with Robert McNeely and others at the network. We saw all those promises. Now we're seeing them be kept by the signing of these executive orders, but there's still a follow through with that. Though it's signed with a stroke of a pen, we have to see the action. So we are seeing the 1,500 troops headed to the southern border. We are seeing him designate the drug cartels as a terrorist organization. So we're seeing the actual promises come to fruition. To your point about the media, though, and I really don't want to talk about mainstream media much anymore, and that's kind of shocking to some because I usually do say a few things, but the fact is there is media reform in this country. Not only is there a national reform for our nation to make it great again through common sense, I believe there's a media reform as well. Common sense, truth, down to earth, real deal stuff, the Constitution, our land, and just keeping the narrative on the side of the right side of history, Christina. So I almost don't care anymore what the mainstream is doing on the left. I used to care because we were brought up watching it. We've worked in the mainstream media and we've seen all of the coverage. And I was watching for a second just yesterday, British Broadcasting Corporation, also CBC out of Canada, Sky News, and then our national so-called cable outlets here. And they were all reporting terrible junk about President Trump, trying to say these things that are a false narrative, not based in common sense truth. So the people are, as you say, some people say, I'm sick and tired of it. Well, they're sick and tired of it. So we've got them covered here at Right Side, Christina. So looking forward to going in there live to this Oval Office and seeing what President Trump does. And then on top of that, watch, Christina, how the so-called mainstream media will spin all the stories afterward. But now President Trump, not only President Trump, how about more importantly, let's be honest, we the people, which is President Trump because he's part of the country, have someone to go to in conservative media. Right Side Broadcasting Network, we're here for you. If you go to another network, it's your choice. It's a free country. But we love our people here. We love this land. And Christina, you might want to stop me before I get going.
No, hey, we'll wind you up and let you go. That's, I feel like they are the enemy of President Trump. And since we are the media, we have to make sure that we're doing our best to offset the lies that they're telling. But you're right. We shouldn't even have to talk about them anymore because I think that the American public is really starting to see. I mean, if you just look at ratings alone, they're being turned off. The CNNs, the MSNBCs, people are flipping the switch because they can't take it anymore. So that's interesting enough. They're actually shooting themselves in the foot when it comes to it. But they will be the enemy of President Trump. And any enemy of President Trump is an enemy of ours. I can tell you that right now. Anybody who's going to stand in his way, they don't deserve to have the voice that they're sharing their lives with. And so I'm glad that we are here to combat the misinformation that they've been spreading for so long. But I think you're right. And I think it's one of those things where everything is trying to find equilibrium. The earth is always trying to come to an equilibrium. And when you push really hard in one direction for so long, people get sick of it. You have to have balance. There has to be balance. And I think that's another reason why RSBN has grown as much as it has, is because people are looking for balance. They're looking for truth. And this man took a bullet for us, 2 attempted assassinations on his life, and he keeps getting back up. Every time he goes out into public, my heart, I say a little prayer for him. My heart is wondering, is he going to be okay? And that is because people, unfortunately, have been out to get him in the past, and I don't know that that's going to change going forward. But he's seen as an enemy by some, where he should be seen as a hero by all. And I think it's going to take some time, but the more time that goes by, the more good that he does for this country. The gas prices coming down, the grocery store prices coming down eventually, our interest rates falling so that people can buy a home. I think these things are going to warm the American public, those who have been standing in opposition to him. They're going to warm up to him even more so going forward. And I know that he knows that as well. He knows everything that he's doing is right. They can't continue to shape the narrative when people are actually flourishing and they are doing better than they were 4 years ago. So it's just going to be an interesting thing to watch play out. But yeah, the media doesn't have as much power as they used to. We know the Democrat Party doesn't have as much power with a Republican House and a Republican Senate. But you know, anything can happen. So we're just going to stay here and cover the news like nobody else can. And Matthew, you have brought every moment of President Trump's executive order signings. Anytime he's on the move, you have been there to cover it. And so that's not going to change. And I know that some news organizations will dip in and out of the coverage, but what's so great about RSBN is that you get the whole stream. You get to see everything. Therefore, if the media does try to take a small segment of what is said and twist it or use it to shape their narrative, it's not going to work, because RSBN will be there to give you the full story, every moment of unedited live coverage that you're only going to find from RSBN. Or C-SPAN also does a pretty good job, but let's face it, they're a little bit more boring. And I will say this, the way that RSBN is able to do it with moving the camera, showing the split screens, it's a lot more entertaining, and you get a lot more information along with it as well. So, but no one else is showing everything. It's only RSBN.
And it's great to be a part of a network that does that. It's all about being pro-free speech, pro-Constitution, on the side of God. We are believers at the network, Judeo-Christian, Old Testament, New Testament, and on, as we just simply report common sense news to the American people, America First journalism. And on top of that, Christina, not to say there's not other conservative outlets, because at the end of the day, everybody is really, hopefully, working on the same side of history here. But we know that the growth of this network has expanded so much because we like talking to us, we the people, when we're out there. We like to go out and interview and hear from everyday America. And that's what was great about the RNC over the summer. President Trump and the team had a number of everyday Americans on stage. It wasn't only someone famous, or it was somebody we never heard of, but they had a great story, and that's what it's about. It really shines the light on we the people. And speaking of that, Christina, so President Trump going to Western North Carolina tomorrow, then he'll have a trip to Los Angeles coming up, and then on to the Silver State in Nevada. He said in the press conference that trip to Nevada will be to thank supporters for the great win in November. So, Christina, are we going to have another rally? What's going on here?
I sure hope so. I know everybody's going to come out to greet him. I mean, what's so interesting about Nevada, 6 electoral votes. That was it. It wasn't the grand prize like Pennsylvania, North Carolina, or Georgia. But still, the fact that he's making the trip out there to thank people of Nevada, and I know a big part of that was the no tax on tips. A lot of people work in the service industry in Las Vegas, for example, Reno. And so they're very happy to see him moving forward with the changes that he promised. But it just tells me that President Trump is willing to go out there and listen to everyday Americans. He listens to what they have to say. And oftentimes he would truth about it. He was watching our coverage as we were interviewing everyday Americans at the various Trump rallies. And the fact that he cares about what impacts them and what's hurting them and the places where they could actually see improvement courtesy of the federal government. And then he responded to it with no tax on tips, for example, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. I'm amazed that a man, who ranks as high as he does, would listen to everyday Americans, and that's always been who he is, what he does. Every rally was a celebration of him and the everyday Americans who love him. MAGA movement is a movement that we're never going to see again, ever. It's the most powerful, most influential political movement of all time in American history. And so it's going to be interesting. I mean, this is something that's rolling out hour by hour, day by day. But can you imagine after the first year goes by, the second year of his presidency, the third year, and then finally going into that fourth year, I mean, what we're going to be able to look back on and really look at a brand new America in so many different ways. I love the way that he's leading the charge on AI. as well, because if China wins that race for AI, the whole world will be changed. And he knows how important it is. We've got to make up for lost time when it comes to putting in infrastructure, getting the best and the brightest people out there, public-private partnerships that he's establishing. So important. And he's being very proactive about every move that he makes. It's as opposed to being reactive, just like we've seen from the Biden administration, just like we're seeing in California. They're reacting to something that they could have been proactive about and prevented.
RSBN's Christina Loren joining us live right now. Thank you so much, Christina, for spending the past 45 minutes straight with us as we get ready to go inside the Oval Office. And to your point about MAGA, Make America Great Again, all about rooted in the Constitution, rooted in the Bible, rooted in freedom. Well, we're seeing that happen here, but we're going to see that, I believe, until the end of time, because everybody that loves freedom is going to stick to that, I believe. And of course, we want to see our country continually be made great again. So RSBN's Christina Loren, thank you again for joining us. We'll see you again right back here on RSBN very soon. Have a good day. We'll talk later.
Thanks. Same to you.
Thank you so much. All right, it is 2:45 Eastern Time. As you see the White House right there on Right Side Broadcasting Network on the right side of your screen. We're hearing from our COO, Grace Ladonna, that the press is now getting ready for putting up the live vantage points from inside the Oval Office for the executive orders to be signed by President Trump. On top of what Christina was saying as well, she was, of course, saying a number of things about myself, but at the end of the day, this network as a team and as a whole, and Robert McNeely, Christina Loren, others here at the network, behind the scenes, just everything that you see from the audio, the lighting, the video, is done by people, not me. I don't know how to do any of this stuff, but it's everybody together, and it's pretty awesome to see as a team working and moving forward as a network. So especially as we expand here. So again, RSBN host Robert McNeely will be here tomorrow with me as we cover a lot of news tomorrow. Tomorrow is the March for Life in Washington, D.C. Also, President Trump will be boarding Air Force One and flying to Western North Carolina. So a lot of news to happen tomorrow. So we're just going to keep the live, you know how they say this is a fluid situation? Well, we're going to keep that live thing going a lot, because there's so many things that are going to be happening each day, day in and day out here at the network. Also, say it's a weekend or say it's a time where we're not technically live on the air. This is RSBN Live. That's the show. That's what it's called. But at the end of the day, we know that we'll be bringing you everything we can, even on X and on Truth Social and our website. So you can rely on us as we have the capability and the access and the live feeds. That is a live picture there at the White House. We'll be going right inside there to the Oval Office as soon as that feed starts. And we will toss to that live feed, and you'll hear the actual sounds inside that Oval Office. So we're going to hear from President Trump here shortly as he signs executive order after executive order. I have no intelligence, I was going to say no intel on the specific orders today. I did see something that possibly one would be about pardoning about 10 pro-life people that would be happening in an executive order possibly today. So I saw that, and I have to give credit where credit is due. Of course, Charlie Kirk, a great conservative rock star, saw that on his Truth Social earlier. But as we also expand here at the network with our sources and all of the interviews we have there in D.C., earlier today, Eli Crane joined the show, and also Representative John McGuire joined this live broadcast to talk to us about what's going on in Washington. But anyway, so my point is, we know that the executive orders, as soon as we see that live feed happen, we'll go there live. In the meantime, we'll keep that live picture up with the White House. Let's talk about some of our sponsors here at the network, because obviously we don't break for those longer commercial breaks, which is fine to do. Obviously, it's a part of the media ecosystem. But the thing that's great about these various sponsors, including Colonial Metals Group, is this is all about patriotic people from the United States and loving our country and wanting to sell a product that is based, right? So gold is always based. So Colonial Metals Group, all you have to do is go to freegoldguide.com/RSBN, Colonial Metals Group. You can have a backup plan for any situation when it comes to our financial the economy and the ups and downs with the dollar value. I know Maganomics is really going to help, but it's also good to have a 401k or IRA sheltered in and backed in gold. So you can get more information at freegoldguide.com/RSBN. Let's move on now to Tax Network USA. Speaking of finances, if you missed any back taxes, this is a perfect place to call. 800-357-1415. They'll work there alongside you and help you along to get that financial peace of mind. That's something that sometimes you could put in the back of your mind and hope it all works out somehow. Well, they'll get that, they'll make that come to pass right there for you. They'll help you out with any tax situation. So 800-357-1415. Let's move on now to brightcore.com. It's mybrightcore.com. Kimchi One is the product that you see there on your screen. It's all about gut health, immune support, anti-aging properties. Kimchi One, right there is the product on your screen. Call 888-722-0936. And also, if you go to mybrightcore.com/RSBN, if you buy 2 of these, you get 1 free. This isn't just to sell a product. This is actually something that works. Kimchi is a great, great thing for our bodies, as you can see there with gut health and immune support. You can learn more about it at mybrightcore.com/RSBN. And our final sponsor before we get ready to go to the Oval Office, Angel Paste, based in Spring, Texas. The Valentine's Day is around the corner, so kind of. So why not get a great product right there? Angelpaste.com. RSBN is the promo code for 10% off. Also, when you help out when you purchase a product at these various sponsors, you are helping out RSBN as well because of the promo code. So this is all part of the way it's going right now. If you think about it, we don't have these huge corporations. We're not bought and paid for by any of them, and we're not bought and paid for by anybody. So it's nice to have that freedom here at the network, and that is where we're going to stay. This is about you, the people, and so our viewership, if you would like to donate, because obviously this is free coverage, you don't have to pay for it, but if you'd like to donate, it's just texting RSBN to 801-801. So text RSBN to 801-801. If you $5, whatever, whatever can work for you, but it's always greatly appreciated, especially as we expand here at the network. Also, if you'd like to follow our newsletter, you can go to rsbnetwork.com/newsletter for more America First updates and more information along with those exclusive offers. So great to have the partnerships and the sponsorships here, because these are companies that believe, think about it, you're not going to have a woke company want to work with Right Side anyway. And can I be really real? And I'm glad. And we make sure we have the right kind of sponsors here at the network. So we're looking live again at 1600 Pennsylvania. Matthew Alvarez, if you'd like to follow on Truth Social. Also, if you'd like to follow Right Side, all you have to do is go to X at RSB Network, or on Truth Social, it's at RSBN. So we're hearing again that the press is walking into the Oval Office. They're getting set up. They're making sure everything's where it needs to be. As those executive orders, you may see here those black books that are there. Each of them has an executive order in it. How many will be on that desk, on that Resolute desk when we go there live? I have no idea, but I'm going to guess that there's going to be quite a few. This is going to be, I think, round 2 of what we saw on Monday. So President Trump gets sworn in, he does all the speeches and goes around, and it's wonderful and everything, but he had to get to work, and he did. He went to Capital One Arena, and he had a desk to the right, and I don't think there's been any president that's done something like that in an arena, and right there on the fly. He had a bunch of them. Or at least had a few of them. And then he had a number of executive orders, including that national emergency on the southern border, and also declaring that the drug cartels are a terrorist organization. So there are more executive orders, obviously, out there. We can go through a few of them if you'd like, but I do know that we're going to see, I think, round 2 of these EOs in the Oval Office. So we're looking forward to listening in here and hearing what President Trump has to say about each of these executive orders. So I'll be watching here with you guys as you watch. We'll just watch together, and we will see what promises were made and what promises are kept. And that'll add to the list here. And I do have a list of those various promises. One is the promise that was made by President Trump was to start his second term by putting America first again. Well, I read this this executive order, just the synopsis of it yesterday, and it was quite interesting because it had to do with foreign policy. So what does foreign policy and America first have to do with each other? Let's take a look. Promises kept. President Trump signed a policy directive declaring that the United States foreign policy must always put the interests of America and its citizens first. I mean, this is some common sense stuff, and it's great to see. I mean, I haven't seen something like this. You know, we didn't see it last administration. We did see it in the first President Trump administration. But prior to that, it was a bunch of, let's be real, deep state junk. And people that, you know, I will say this. If President George W. Bush was a big supporter of our country, he would have came to President Trump's defense. End of story. Also, so we know that it's about the top of the hour here at 3 o'clock Eastern time as we're watching live coverage together as we see the White House there on the right side of your screen. We do know, again, we'll have these Oval Office live vantage point here at any minute, and we will go there live as soon as we see that pop up on our screen. As we've been here for about an hour now, Christina Loren just joined us, of course. That was great to speak with her. And then also tomorrow, Robert McNeely. You know, I've been calling him Robert more lately than Bobby. If you remember, a lot of people called him Bobby McNeely. I called him that too. But one of the reports during the inauguration, I said, and Robert McNeely is joining us live. And I said, I like that. So we're going to keep the Robert McNeely thing going, I think. And Bobby approved that yesterday. Sometimes I'll call him Bobby, but whatever. Yeah, so it'd be great to have him back here. But seriously, though, tomorrow is going to be quite awesome with the coverage. We're going to see possibly President Trump boarding Air Force One at Andrews Air Force Base to go to Western North Carolina for his first stop out of then going to California and Nevada. Not sure on which days he'll be going to the West Coast and visiting those two states. So we will let you know as soon as we get that information. And then on top of that, the March for Life in Washington, D.C. I saw Father Frank Pavone posting on Truth Social and on X that he will be there as well. So we'll have some of that coverage as we have those live feeds tomorrow. And each day we will get the president's public schedule right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network as we get emails from the Office of Communications or the Office of the Press Secretary. Of course, Carolyn Levitt doing a great job already. If you saw yesterday, she was on one of the national cable outlets, Fox, and then after she was done there, she was pretty much mobbed almost by a number of media in a respectful way. It was more of a press gaggle as she was walking back to the press briefing room, and they were asking her questions. And basically all Carolyn said was the fact that President Trump signed that executive order for the 1,500 additional military troops to go down to our southern border. So as soon as we see video like that or photos, we'll bring that to you as well. And then the press started to ask Carolyn more questions, and then she went off to what she had to take care of. But here's the thing. I know the media is ready to go to have a first White House press briefing with Carolyn Levitt. But I can tell you, after interviewing Carolyn myself, Robert McNeely has as well, and others here at the network, that she's a firecracker, and there's no way that she's going to be. She's basically Teflon Don, but Teflon Caroline. You know, she's with it when it comes to knowing what's up for this country. It's because she loves this country. That's why it's going to be great to have her as a press secretary there in Washington, D.C., unlike what we saw from the last administration and other administrations before President Trump took office back in 2017. So we are at the top of the hour coming up here in a couple minutes. We are going to Washington right there live in just a minute. Let's look at some more of these specifics when it comes to the promises made, promises kept, when it comes to the executive orders already signed by President Trump. I can tell you that President Trump promised to withdraw the United States from the disastrous Paris Climate Accord that unfairly ripped off our country. Well, the promise kept. For the second time, President Trump signed an executive order on Monday withdrawing the United States from the Paris Agreement. How about when President Trump pledged to scrap offshore wind projects on day one of his presidency? Well, if you go back to January 20th, which feels like 7 years ago at this point, it's only been 3 days. The promise kept. President Trump signed a presidential memorandum pausing all new and renewed federal leasing and permitting for both onshore and offshore wind projects. So that going away, but what will be coming in, and I did think about this yesterday, President Trump talked a lot about drill, baby, drill. So maybe there'll be an executive order today about that, or maybe an announcement about specifically where and when that will start. The promise made that President Trump promised to take bold and decisive action to immediately seal the border on day one. Well, we've already seen that he has signed that EO about the national emergency on the southern border. So again, there are a lot of pieces of social media content out there, videos or photos, 2 stories that we're following and 2 that have to do with the executive orders. One is this southern border emergency, right? And also the ICE agents, about 308 illegal aliens have been arrested by ICE. That number is going up as we speak. And we've been seeing video on social media of various illegal aliens being arrested by ICE agents. So it's happening now, and it's only going to happen more as the country gets cleaned up. You can't have, that's already a crime to cross into another nation. I mean, if you and I traveled out to name a nation and we didn't have any documents, they wouldn't let you in. That's not a big deal. That's just the way it is. Nothing against the legal process of becoming a citizen of the country. It's a great thing. But obviously illegal is not the way to do it. So we saw that with the president. And the other story we're following with an executive order is the fact of the 1,500 J6 prisoners, our citizens. There's a slow rollout there, but I think it's started to speed up at this point where people are being set free. So we're monitoring that situation as well. I believe the statistic that I heard from Representative Eli Crane earlier today on RSBN Live earlier this morning was that there are still 7 of the J6ers in the DC jail that are yet to be released, but that may be happening today. So it's a very fluid situation, and we'll cover it as we get more information on that. Let's go to a couple more of these executive orders as we are looking forward to going to the Oval Office there to watch President Trump sign a number of executive orders. There'll be a lot of news to be had in this next segment you're going to see live right here. Also, Carla Sands, the former ambassador to Denmark under the first Trump administration, and also she is working at America First Policy Institute and has traveled with the Trump team across the country, especially in Pennsylvania, on the campaign trail. She will join us here live to give us real-time reaction to all of the executive orders that President Trump will sign in the Oval Office. So that will be live right after that happens. So again, thank you so much for watching and streaming. If you'd like to let people know, your friends and family, that, hey, RSBN is going live with a lot more coverage right now because we see every day another development or something live, you can do that and share that information with them as we cover America First updates right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. What we're going to do is we're going to go to a quick, brief commercial break. Right after that, we'll go to D.C. if the Oval Office signing is ready. And even if the Oval Office live vantage point happens in the middle of a commercial break, we can go to that live even in the middle of that. So we'll be right back. I'm Matthew Alvarez here on Right Side Broadcasting Network.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live Show. Look, don't forget to check me out right here on RSBN Network. Be sure to watch the show on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. Yes, it's imperative that you do so, okay? I look to see y'all soon. Bye-bye.
A large retail store just canceled a huge order, leaving us with a ton of extra MyPillows. But you know what? That's their loss. I'm going to make it your gain. For the first time ever, you get standard classic MyPillows for wholesale prices, only $14.88. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.88. But it gets even better. For a limited time, I'm going to offer my entire classic collection at wholesale prices. Upgrade to a queen-size MyPillow for just $18.88. today. King size, only $1 more. Get my body pillows for $29.88 and multi-use My Pillows for only $9.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on the screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of wholesale pricing for the first time ever on TV, including my standard size My Pillow, only $14.88. They've never been offered this low before. We have limited quantities at this price, so limit's going to be 10, and once they're gone, they're gone.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
What a beautiful plane that is, as you saw in the commercial there, Trump Force One. So much fun seeing that plane fly over various rallies around the country. Now going to Air Force One, which we may see tomorrow here on Right Side Broadcasting Network, as President Trump will be flying to Western North Carolina from the Washington, D.C. area, of course, Joint Base Andrews. So we'll possibly see that coverage right here on the network tomorrow. And also, right now, you're looking live at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the White House, of course, as we get ready to go to the West Wing there in the Oval Office to see President Trump's executive order signing. There were many on Monday, of course, 42, in fact, signed by the president. Let's look through some of President Trump's schedule right now. The fact that, actually, you know what? I think Carla Sands, producers, we might be able to go to Carla right now. Let's see if we can get to Carla. Let's go. Just trying to figure out if we can get her on the line. Let's see, at 11 o'clock this morning, just to go over the president's public schedule, the president delivered remarks via video out there to Davos, Switzerland, with a panel discussion with the CEOs at the World Economic Forum, as President Trump is working to get the economy kick-started. The president then at 12:30 had a intelligence briefing at 12:30 inside the White House. Then after that is what we are on this day of his schedule right here is the briefing room, or actually the Oval Office, where he signs executive orders. So that was scheduled for 2:30. Obviously, it's 3:07, but we will be getting that as soon as it happens live. At about 3:30, it says here, the president conducts a phone call with Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador. That phone call happens in 3:30. Then President Trump will be recording some video messages, and also will hold a senior staff meeting and swearing-in ceremony to cap out the day there, to put a lid on the day, as they say in Washington. So a number of the events are closed to the press, but that is a public schedule that I just shared with you, so it's not any secret there. So we know what specifically the commander-in-chief is up to. Let's see if Carla Sands, okay, we'll be going here soon to Carla, and we'll be able to go to her live, most likely right after the Oval Office signing situation there in Washington, D.C. So again, the public schedule for the president you just saw there, as we are looking forward to heading to Washington. We can look to a number of our other stories we're following here at the network on Right Side Broadcasting Network as we continue to expand our coverage. And again, we'll have our RSBN host, Robert McNeely, here with us tomorrow, and look forward to our commentary together. And you saw him yesterday at our Rumble Studios in D.C., and then earlier RSBN host Christina Loren joining us live for a solid 45 minutes of our Q&A and commentary as we wait the president in the Oval Office. So some of the stories that we're looking at here, one of them that we just posted, a press release for Right Side Broadcasting Network, the coverage of President Trump's inauguration surpasses 6 million viewers. So more than 6 million people watched our January 20th coverage between Rumble and YouTube and our social media platforms and X and Truth Social, our app, our website. So a lot of people tuning in to our network for that coverage. Great to have that happen. Thank you guys so much for watching as we continue to bring you as many live reports as possible here at RSBN Live and as we expand into the future. President Trump also spoke about Russia and China pushing for denuclearization. That was earlier today when he was speaking with some of the people at the WEF in Davos. President Trump has a message for Canada at the World Economic Forum saying, I say you can always become a state. If you're a state, you won't have a deficit. We won't have to tariff you. That, according to the president earlier, some for that kind of thing happening for Canada to be part of the United States. But outside of that, a place like Greenland would be great as well because, you know, we see a lot of support from the small population of Greenland, but that could really help with some of our military abroad. President Trump hits back at Bank of America's CEO during the World Economic Forum, addresses the forum address, tells them that they were wrong. What they're doing to conservatives is wrong. That, according to the president, against the Bank of America CEO. President Trump also saying we have some very big complaints with the EU. So we'll see when President Trump would make his first trip to Europe. But we know right now, guys, that we want to see him right there in that building signing these executive orders. So we'll be going there live here in just a minute as we check out the various reports from earlier today. President Trump at Davos saying earlier, we have saved free speech in America and we've saved it strongly, end quote. So great to see the president, defending the Constitution, which is part of those core promises that we saw from the president a while ago, that saving the free speech in our nation and protecting and defending and preserving our Constitution. Just the other day from an Alabama delegate, a Trump Alabama delegate, Gina Boggs, she sent me a photo of the Constitution inside the National Archives Museum in Washington, D.C. And to see a document like that, the document, the real one, the Constitution, the actual one that was signed, that we can see that as we the people is pretty awesome. So if you are ever in D.C. To check out the National Archives Museum, it was great to see our great document. All right, we're going to go to this White House here on the full screen in just a second as it is 3:12 Eastern Time. I'll read some more of the quotes from the president as well as we get ready to see President Trump go to the Oval Office there to sign various executive orders. And we will have coverage for you as well tomorrow for his trip to North Carolina. And also we'll have a feed of the March for Life in Washington, D.C. So a lot of coverage to be had here at the network and this executive order signing here in just a second. Let's go live right now to the visual outside the White House. From there, we'll then see the signing of executive orders inside the Oval Office. I'm Matthew Alvarez. Thanks so much for streaming right here on RSBN. All right, it's 3:15. You're watching RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez. We're getting ready to go into the Oval Office there. We are told the press is about ready to watch the president there, and he will be signing a number of executive orders. And we'll have Carla Sands joining us here in about 60 seconds from now, and we can talk about all of the executive orders that President Trump has signed, or at least a few of them. I mean, there were 42 in the past 3 days, so we'll get to that as soon as Carla joins us here live, as it is, again, 3:15. Thanks so much for tuning in, streaming in, wherever you're watching right now throughout the country and in some places around the world. I know there's some people in France and in Australia and in Japan that like Right Side Broadcasting Network, so that's pretty cool. So it's great to see people from our country, but also others that love freedom and would love to have an opportunity that we have here in this country under President Trump, with all of the freedom that he stands for and is defending for our Constitution and our constitutional rights. So as soon as Carla joins the show here, we'll bring her on and have her live with us. And we will talk about various executive orders and also get her reaction on the great win by the president, but also the inauguration and this historic speed and strength that we see with the president right now with all of the executive orders. We did hear earlier in the week President Trump saying this is going to be a time of historic speed and strength when he's signing all of these executive orders. I also looked at the president's speech from the Capitol building the other day, and I'm getting to that right here. The speech is great. If you get a chance to look at the actual words of the speech, it's pretty awesome to read and to see where President Trump is coming from. President Trump saying national unity is now returning to America, and confidence and pride is soaring like never before. In everything we do, my administration will be inspired by a strong pursuit of excellence and unrelenting success. We will not forget our country, we will not forget our Constitution, and we will not forget our God. Can't do that, end quote. President Trump saying that there as we are awaiting Carla Sands there, working on getting her live here as the crew works on that as well. Today, the president said, or on Monday, he said, I will sign a series of historic executive orders. With these actions, we will begin the complete restoration of America and the revolution of common sense. It's all about common sense, and that's a great part of the speech on Monday, as you guys remember that great time there. Now, what we can do, Director, let's go to the America First speech, part of the speech from Monday, as we just, it's Throwback Thursday in a way, but only to a few days ago. Please let me know when that's ready. And of course, even during that part of that 30-second soundbite, we could still cut right to the Oval Office. So as soon as that's ready, please let me know, as he was talking about America First and the importance of that, but all about the common sense as well, and having a revolution of common sense in this country. So great to see that as we get ready to go to the Oval Office once again here at 3:18 Eastern time. Let's go to that portion of the speech just the other day, just on Monday. Can you believe it? It was only 3 days ago. Take a listen.
Day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first. Our sovereignty will be reclaimed. Our safety will be restored. The scales of justice will be rebalanced. The vicious, violent, and unfair weaponization of the Justice Department and our government will end.
Of course, at the U.S. Capitol, at the Rotunda there, last time a president sworn in was Ronald Reagan back in 1985. I was 4 years old at that time. President Trump also saying in the speech, as Commander-in-Chief, I have no higher responsibility than to defend our country from threats and invasions, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. We will do it at a level that nobody has ever seen before. And then he says, next, I will direct all members of my cabinet to marshal the vast powers at their disposal to defeat what was record inflation and rapidly bring down costs and prices. So so many things jam-packed into that speech. It reminds me of Agenda 47. It reminds me of the 20 core promises that the RNC and President Trump has shared with the American people. And then you look at 42 executive orders that were already signed, and all of those were promises made on the campaign trail. So not only will the executive orders be signed, then on top of that, it's the follow-through, it's the action of those orders. So once we see that happen here, but this is all such in the infancy stage of something happening. So as soon as, but some of it goes really fast, specifically the 1,500 troops on the way to the southern border. But things like the economy, I mean, how long will it take for gas prices to dip back down? How long will it take for prices of everything at the store to drop? We don't know, but we will monitor it here at the network. As it's 3:21 Eastern time. The other day, if you remember, the press conference, President Trump spoke about 3 states in the union that he'll be traveling to starting tomorrow. So again, he'll be going to North Carolina, then to California, and then he'll travel to Nevada coming up. Carla Sands, looks like she is joining us. Producers, if you'd like to get her on the line there, and we can go to her as well. And then get some of her commentary as we look forward to the executive orders being signed. There might be some confusion with some of the links that we have right now, but we'll get that squared away. If we don't see Carla now, we'll get that squared away for right after the executive orders that are signed in the Oval Office there in Washington, D.C. So again, you see at the bottom of your screen, awaiting President Trump's executive order signing. We are on standby right now as we get ready to go to the White House once again. I can tell you also some of the stories that we've been following here at the network. For those of you just joining us now to watch the signing of the executive orders, this is RSBN Live. We are on the fly right now, getting ready to land there with the Oval Office and looking forward to seeing that take place. As soon as that live feed happens, we will go there. So some of the headlines we're following, the border czar Tom Homan says 308 illegal aliens were arrested already this week. Those numbers are going up as we speak. President Trump will be traveling to North Carolina, California, and Nevada. That starts tomorrow. And then again, the 1,500 of our citizens, the J6ers, a slow rollout in some ways for setting them free. But I'm thinking at this point a majority of them are now free. We haven't received any emails as we did just the other day. Someone from Oklahoma reached out to us saying there were 3 people in the Grady County jail there that were supposed to be set free, and they weren't. But at this point, at last check, it sounds like the numbers are positive in the direction of the amount of people that have been set free. Again, if you missed our interview with the representative out of Arizona, Eli Crane, earlier, he said there were about 7 of our citizens that are still yet to be free at the D.C. jail. So we'll see, hopefully, that come to pass here soon. And I also remember on Truth Social, Paul Ingrassia sending out a picture of 2 people there that were in jail that are now free as well. And a very emotional time for one of our J6ers there. When I say one of our J6ers, I mean these are American citizens that already spent several years in jail. And on top of that, most of them nonviolent offenders with 6 commutations there, so a lesser sentence for the 6. We'll see what happens there with that. But 1,500 of them is now free. So one of them was holding his daughter, maybe 5, 6 years old, just picked her up, and she was crying and saying, "Daddy, you're home, Daddy, you're home." And it was just a powerful moment to see that happen. Now me, as being a dad as well, I can only imagine, you know. So we also interviewed John Strand, a former J6er. He spent 366 days in jail, some in solitary confinement. But it was God and his grit that got him through. And now, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, he works over at the American Frontline Doctors with Dr. Simone Gold, and very well spoken, and onward with great things for his career and his life. So we're hoping to see great things happen for everybody in this country, no matter if someone's a liberal or right wing or upside down wing. I mean, just figuratively speaking, of course. So it's just like, let's get this thing done. And we're looking forward to seeing some more of those promises made here and promises kept there in the West Wing of the White House. If you're just joining us again, it's about 3:25. We're getting ready, hopefully any second, to go right there to the White House. Now, according to the president's schedule, 2:30 was the Oval Office executive order signing. At about 3 o'clock, we got a report that the press was inside the Oval Office. So we'll go there as soon as that happens when it comes to the live feed. We also see on his public schedule that he will be speaking on the phone at around 3:30 with the El Salvador president. So I'm thinking obviously that phone call is shifting down a bit and the schedule being moved a little bit along there. This reminds me a little bit of rally coverage. Sometimes when we say, oh, the president's going to come out at 7 o'clock and speak at 7, well, sometimes he speaks at 8. And we just have to tap dance, and we can do it. Sometimes. We saw Christina Loren, of course, joining us live. And let's see if we can get Carla Sands. I'm not sure if she's not able to access the link that we sent her, but if that's the way it is, we can try and get her after the executive order signing there in Washington, D.C. As we look at the amount of promises, again, President Trump promised to, for his second term, to put America first. Promises kept. President Trump signed a policy directive declaring that United States foreign policy must always put the interests of America and its citizens first. So seeing that as well in our country as we move forward. Let's look on our Truth Social together and see what kind of stories are being reported on. The National Security Advisor Waltz follows through on his day one promise to Americans. That story on Right Side Broadcasting Network. President Trump illustrating the art of the peace deal in his recent warning to Russia. Speaking of peace deals, we spoke with Sam Markstein at the Republican Jewish Coalition earlier today on Right Side Broadcasting Network this morning before our Brooke Rollins coverage there at the in Washington at the Senate confirmation hearing. He was very happy, of course, at the 3 hostages that were let go there, but also President Trump recently signing an executive order that if anybody is verbally supporting in colleges, I'm going to stop there and I'm going to go directly to the actual executive order and not just fly off the top of my head here with that one. Let me get to the specifics on that so I don't say anything incorrect, and it's live TV, so you got to do it right. But I'll get to that one in a minute. But he was just really happy to see that President Trump is taking those strong stances against Hamas, against Al-Qaeda, against any terrorist organization, and now including the terrorist organizations list are the drug cartels. As we've seen, the amount of crime that has happened in our country, the open borders, all the millions of people that have arrived in this nation, and then now seeing a number of them either self-deport or ICE is already finding them, arresting them, and deporting them. The Laken-Riley Act also just passing, and now I'm hearing that President Trump's first bill to sign into law will be the Laken-Riley Act. So yeah, it's great to see all of these various things happen. The ship is turning around like never before in this country's history, as we were definitely going down that, as I mentioned the other day, if you were watching the Niagara Falls situation, going down the falls and falling over the edge. That's the way our country was headed, but somehow, some way, through our faith, through God, and through Too Big to Rig and all of the balance of praying hard and working hard, we came together and got it done. And here we are. And it's just a great time to be alive. So bottom of the hour, 3:30 coming up here, as it was expected an hour ago for the Oval Office executive orders. But you know what? President Trump runs on his schedule, and that's fine, because it's worth the wait when we go inside the Oval Office together, as in you and me, and we watch this signing take place. Because I'm curious, just as you are, what are the ones that he's going to sign today? So we're looking forward to seeing that. I'm getting a message now from Carla Sands, and let's see if we can get her in on the correct link. I'm not sure if there's some wires crossed there on that one. So Possibly, if this continues a lot longer, I'm not going to tap dance like this without a teleprompter for that much. Come on now. I mean, we could talk about some stuff if you want. I mean, hey. But if Christina Loren is still on standby there, we can bring Christina right back. So Christina, if you're watching, come on back in and we can talk more about this country that we see unfolding before our eyes in an America First way. And it's great to see that. And yeah, we've been excited to bring you this news and bring you all of the live access that you're about to see inside the White House there. Obviously, a long campaign season. If you remember back in the primary days in New Hampshire and the caucus in Iowa, a shout out to those of you in the Hawkeye State and also in New Hampshire as well. And let's go now to Carla Sands joining us live right now on RSBN Network. Carla, thank you so much for joining us. We got you here live. It took a minute, but there you are. Thanks so much for joining us. Tell us about your latest thoughts on the inauguration and also these executive orders that we're about to see signed by the most common sense president of all time.
It is so true, Matthew. I'm so excited. It's every day is a gift right now. We have I think in our history, the hardest working president we've ever had, and he's working on behalf of every single one of us. And that's what's so heartening. And the thing is, the executive orders he's signing are on our behalf. It's about strengthening our border, sending the military down. It's about this exciting Emergency Powers Act that he's doing on energy so that he'll be able to work with the DOD to break the forces in California and those northeastern states that aren't doing the right thing for their I don't want to call them citizens of that state, but certainly residents of that state. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see the executive orders he signs coming up. Every day, like I said, it feels like Christmas.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I was driving home on the 20th. You know, we see history in the making. There's this coverage. We see the president in the motorcade, you know, at night in Washington, D.C. You see the Capitol in the rearview mirror as he's driving towards the White House. And you almost are like, wait, did this really happen? And then you feel the sense of patriotism and the sense of relief that we've got somebody that has our back. And also, not only President Trump, he's hiring all of these great people in the cabinet that are also America First, and some of them outsiders, and a lot of them outsiders. They're all just great people, and it's wonderful, isn't it, Carla?
It is. It's wonderful. It's a great time to be an American. I feel so blessed to be alive right now. There's just so much happening, and to see our country turn, you know, and it's hard to turn a big country like the United States, but his vigor and his energy, along with, like you said, his great team, is actually doing that. You can feel it in the air. You can see it in how people are, you know, they're smiling, they're happy. Businesses are opening. People are ready to invest, hire new employees. It's a great time to be alive.
It is. And so the historic speed that we see with the president signing the executive orders, and once again, if you're joining us, obviously we're going to be going to the Oval Office as soon as we get that live feed. But Carla, the president's saying this is historic speed and strength that we're seeing right now. And I was, while you were speaking there, you're saying it's you know, the ship going in the right direction now. It takes a lot to do that. I was picturing President Trump as the orchestra, you know, the orchestra leader there, just kind of getting it all done, you know, nonstop working there.
It's true. There's probably one of your viewers right now using an AI to create that visual of him being the captain of our ship of America. So maybe they'll post it as a meme.
Yeah, no, that'd be great, definitely. Carla, let's talk about the fact that he's going to North Carolina, California, and Nevada coming up, and also your thoughts on the national emergency on the southern border.
Don't you love that he's going immediately to embrace those poor people of North Carolina that got short shrift from FEMA and from President Biden, how they went by houses that had Trump flags? That's illegal. They were doing illegal things and discriminating against the people of North Carolina. So I'm proud that President Trump is going down there to show them some love, but also he's going to whip FEMA into shape. They have an actual job to do, and that's to take care of emergencies in the United States. They have failed at their mission set, and they really failed miserably, the people of North Carolina and the people of surrounding states that were affected. And then he's going to California. I'm excited about that because those poor Californians, and I've lived there for 30 years, I saw the mismanagement and I saw the decline of that state. And when I went to be ambassador to Denmark, I knew I wasn't going back to California, that I was returning home to my home state of Pennsylvania. Because as much as it was a state full of dreams that you could dream and fulfill, now because of this mismanagement, it's a dangerous place. Been put before victims, and you can see that they haven't managed the forests. They let the homeless start fires. When I went to Denmark as ambassador, I was evacuated from my home at that time, living in a hotel because of the mismanagement and because they allowed homeless people to start cooking fires that they don't manage, and then they grew to burn a big part of Bel Air back in 2017. So I'm really glad he's going there. I think he's going to hopefully pressure the governor, Gavin Newsom, there to do the right thing for Californians. But I think Californians and people from Los Angeles are ready for change. I suspect they're ready for, I don't know, a Republican governor and mayor in Los Angeles, or certainly someone with values that closer align to the people of that state. California was a Republican state when I moved there in 1987. So they had Ronald Reagan as their governor at one time, and then Pete Wilson, of course, and others. And so President Trump will pressure California to do better, and I think he's going to tie aid to changes in their behavior, which is a great idea. And then I think he's going to Nevada to thank Nevada for electing him president.
Yeah, that'll be great to see that as we are looking at a live picture. It's just a picture. It's not a video. We would go there live if that was live footage right now, but it's a photo from inside the Oval Office there with President Trump. So we're looking forward to seeing those executive orders be signed. So we will go there as soon as we get that live feed. You can see that stack to the right of the president. That's a number of executive orders right there. We'll know one by one which one they are as we go. Let's shift over to today's Brooke Rollins Senate confirmation hearing for the Department of Agriculture. Obviously a colleague of yours at the America First Policy Institute. Do you know specifically, does she keep her post at AFPI and then also would be the Secretary of Ag, or not, or you're not sure?
Well, Matthew, you know, I think serving in government, there are certain rules that you have to follow. My suspicion is that she will have to resign from her position at AFPI. It's in the great hands of Chad Wolf, who was our former Secretary of Homeland Security for President Trump's first term. And we have a wonderful team there. Brooke Rollins founded AFPI. It was her brainchild when she was working as Trump's domestic policy advisor in Trump, 1.0 administration. And I've been so pleased and thrilled to work with her and the great team at AFPI as she's led us. We have, I think, 20 policy centers. We're working to support conservative executive orders, bills in the House and Senate, things that they need support from a C3 organization, but there's also a C4 that helped President Trump get elected because we had boots on the ground in the swing states, in 7 swing states, and we were very active working on behalf of the campaign on the ground game. So it was with Ashley Hayek. And Brooke, I'll have to watch her testimony. I was in an airplane, so I wasn't able to watch it earlier today, but I look forward to seeing her testimony. She's a great woman. Yeah, no, she's awesome. And we had an interview with her here at the network before, and I was speaking to some of the crew here while Brooke started her opening statements, and I said, this is what the American people like. People like her. She's very just real. And that's why President Trump resonates. That's why so many people that President Trump is working with, and yourself, I mean, being an ambassador to Denmark in the first administration and also going on the campaign trail with the team there, it's real people. That's what people want to see, isn't it? It is. People really are craving authenticity. They don't want to see these produced people that are completely fake and phony, and you don't really get what you think you're getting. Just look at how many Americans voted for Joe Biden because they thought, oh, he says he's going to be the president for all Americans. He's going to work across the aisle. he didn't. He took Bernie Sanders policies and implemented Bernie Sanders policies across America. That's why I think one of the reasons President Trump had such a resounding successful election was because the American people were like, we're not down with this. We really want to get back to normalcy. We want secure borders. We don't want high inflation. We want to be able to buy whatever kind of car we want. We want our water heaters, whatever kind we want to buy. It should be the people buying things that should be able to decide, not the government top-down CCP type central planning. That's very un-American.
It is 100% un-American. And Carla, are you able to join us after the executive order signing? Is that in your schedule? Can you do that, or?
I'll just have to find out from you about what time that is and what time it ends. I hope to be able to. I love being with you and your audience, Matthew.
Carla, thank you so much. Carla Sands, once again with the America First Policy Institute. If you're able to stand by and watch live with us, that'd be great. Or we'll message you and see if you can come back on to share in real time some of your thoughts about the executive orders. Carla Sands, thank you again for joining us on Right Side.
Thanks, Matthew.
All right, so it's 3:41 Eastern Time. We see the White House there on your screen. We did see that photo of the Oval Office as well. That's the photo right there. I'm sure that we will get the live feed here in a minute. I know that there are various places that you could possibly watch this, but we're going to have a live feed as well. But I can tell you that right now, as I see some other feeds in other regions of the earth when it comes to live reporting. Okay, let's do it. Let's go to Washington, D.C. right now.
Case, and it will go through the first one, please.
Do you want to? Yeah, Mr. President, this is an executive order on crypto. We're going to be. Oh, sorry, we're doing the draft first. Sorry, Mr. President, this is an executive order on AI. We're basically announcing the administration's policy to make America the world capital in artificial intelligence and to dominate and to lead the world in AI.
Do you want to say your name, your full name?
Yeah, David
and
Sachs,
serial?
AI and Crypto Czar.
David is one of the greatest in the world at AI. Most respected, probably, there is. So that should take us to the forefront, right?
Absolutely. We got to win.
Okay. Thank you. And this, David, is?
Yeah, this is the Crypto EO. We're going to be forming an internal working group to make America the world capital in crypto under your leadership.
Which is really going up, right?
Absolutely.
All right, David, that's for you. Thanks, sir. You find them exciting? They might not be exciting, but they're going to make a lot of money for the country.
Thank you, sir.
And so is David. You have to check him out. There's nobody like this guy. They said, how did you get David Sachs? How did you do that? And he's doing it for the country more than anything else. So we appreciate it, David. Thank you very much.
This is an executive order establishing a presidential commission, an advisory commission on science and technology.
Good. Do you want to explain that a little bit?
The basic idea is to get together top people from government, the private sector, technology industry, as well as educational institutions, to make sure that America maintains its leadership position with respect to science and technology development in the years ahead.
Good. That's great.
Next, sir, we have a presidential memorandum encouraging departments and agencies in your government, including the Department of the Interior, to promote federal recognition of the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina.
I love the Lumbee tribe. So this is their first big step, right?
This would be a huge step for them, sir.
Yeah, they were with me all the way. They were great. North Carolina, Lumbee tribe. Okay, you'll send them a copy of that?
Yes, sir.
They were great. Okay?
And if you'd like, I could get them that pen, sir, as well.
Yeah, let's do that.
Next, we have a set of pardons for peaceful pro-life protesters who were prosecuted by the Biden administration for exercising their First Amendment rights.
Do you know how many?
I believe it's 23, sir.
23 people were prosecuted. They should not have been prosecuted. Many of them are elderly people. They should not have been prosecuted. This is a great honor to sign this. They'll be very happy. So they're all in prison now?
Some are out of custody.
It's ridiculous. Okay?
Lastly, sir, we have an executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years, for decades. And everything will be revealed. Okay? Give that to RFK Jr.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. President, a U.S. judge temporarily blocks the birthright citizenship order. Do you have any reaction?
No, obviously we'll appeal it. They put it before a certain judge in Seattle, I guess, right? And there's no surprises with that judge.
Mr. President, Senators Collins and Murkowski have now said they will vote against Pete Hegseth. Are you worried about his confirmation and your reaction?
And no surprises there. It's too bad. You know, it's the way it is. Too bad.
And when would you adjourn Congress to make recess appointments, Mr. President?
Well, I'd take a look at that. I'd listen to John Thune. He's doing a fantastic job. We're moving along. The Democrats are trying to delay government, as they always do. They can't help themselves. Even John Ratcliffe, who's very, very strong, very popular, and liked by the Democrats. I guess he gets a lot of Democrat votes. That's taking a long time, and it shouldn't be taking a long time. They're maxing everything out so they can delay everything as much as possible.
Does Senator Thune support an effort to use recess appointments if you choose to do that?
I'd be willing to use recess appointments. It's up to John. We'll see. John Thune's a great guy, great senator, knows his stuff inside out and backwards, but I would use recess appointments if he wants to do that. Absolutely. The Democrats are just delaying. They always delay.
Mr. President, you spoke with the Saudi Crown Prince yesterday.
Who?
The Saudi Crown Prince.
Yes.
How was the call?
Right.
And they said $600 billion they're going to invest.
600. I'll ask him for $1 trillion.
You said you're going to ask for $1 trillion. Will Saudi Arabia be the first foreign country you will visit since they invest in that much money?
Well, if they do that, I would. Yeah, I would be glad to do that. I did it. As you know, 4 years ago, we did $450 billion, meaning the money all goes to American companies, and they purchase jets and they purchase computers and everything else. And we did $450 billion, and I guess we're at 650. And I'll see if I can talk him into it.
I don't think it is again. You showed great confidence in Steve Witkoff. Why you said that you doubt that the ceasefire in Gaza will hold, since you appraised his
Well, no, I think he's great,
efforts?
but it's a very tricky place. It's very tricky. We'll see. And if something does happen, they will not be happy.
Sir, follow up on that one. In terms of Steve Witkoff, are you going to put him in charge of Iran's strategy, and do you want him talking directly with the Iranians?
No, but he's certainly somebody I would use. He's done a fantastic job. He's a great negotiator. He's a very good person, a very popular person. Gets along with people. I have great negotiators. They have no personality whatsoever, and then I have some that do. Steve has a wonderful way about him, and people like him, and even in this case, both sides like him. And he was able to make a deal. That deal would have never been made without Steve. The Biden people couldn't make the deal. They were working on it for a year and a half. They couldn't make a deal. We got it done prior to the inauguration. We said it has to be before the inauguration. I mean, the deal should hold, but if it doesn't hold, there'll be a lot of problems.
Related to your AI, EO, just hours after you made that big Stargate announcement, Elon Musk tweeted that they don't actually have the money. Is that true?
I don't know if they do, but they're putting up the money. The government's not putting up anything. They're putting up money. They're very rich people, so I hope they do. And I mean, Elon doesn't like one of those people. So,
are you worried that AI is going to replace many American jobs? Does that worry you?
No. It's going to create tremendous numbers of jobs. It's going to also create a lot of benefits medically for cancer research and other things. It's going to have a huge positive impact. And, we want to be ahead of China. We're right now way ahead of China. David Sachs is one of the all-time experts. That people are amazed that you just met him. I don't know if he's still here. There he is. But one of the most respected people in that world. It's a world. It's a whole different world. And we're ahead of China now because of what I'm doing. And I think it's going to be very successful.
Please, you just asked the Davos Forum again that NATO countries should spend 5% of GDP on defense.
Yeah.
The United States don't spend 5%.
Well,
Do you think it
don't
should also
think so.
apply to the United States?
We're protecting them, They're not protecting us. We're protecting them. So I don't think we should be spending. I'm not sure we should be spending anything, but we should certainly be helping them. But they should up their 2% to 5%. Yeah.
Mr. President, you said earlier during your speech at Davos that you would like to see interest rates come down. How much would you like to see them come down?
A lot. I'd like to see them come down a lot, and oil prices will come down. And when oil prices come down, everything's going to be cheaper for the American people and actually for the world, but for the American people. So I'd like to see oil prices come down. And when the energy comes down, that's going to knock out a lot of the inflation. That's going to automatically bring the interest rates down.
Are you worried that
Mr. President, you said that you would demand.
Are you worried that there's too much going on at once if you're trying to bring interest rates down, get the economy back going?
No, it just works that way. I mean, it's just economically works that way. When the oil comes down, it'll bring down prices. Then you won't have inflation, and then the interest rates will come down.
You said that you would demand that the interest rates come down.
Well, I would.
Do you expect
I
the
would
Fed?
put in a strong statement.
Do you expect the Fed to listen to you?
Yeah.
Are you going to talk to Powell about this and bringing the rates down?
At the right time, I would.
Sir, do you think any of the people you pardoned that were participated in the January 6, 2021 attack, do you plan to meet with any of them or meet with them at the White House?
I don't know. I'm sure that they probably would like to. I did them something important, but what they did is they were protesting a crooked election. I mean, people understand that also. And they were treated very badly. Nobody's been treated like that. So I'd be open to it, certainly. I don't know of anything like that, but I think they're going to meet in some of the congressmen, women, want to meet. But I'd certainly be open to it.
Have you spoken to them since you issued the pardons?
I haven't spoken to any of them yet, but I know they're very happy.
Mr. President,
I gave them their life back. Their life was taken away from them unnecessarily and unfairly. I gave them their life back, so I can imagine they probably would like to.
Mr. President, what did you mean when you said that Biden took bad advice and not pardoning himself yesterday?
Well, he did. I think he did, because he pardoned all these people that are crooked as hell. Look, the congressmen, they're crooked. What they did is they destroyed evidence. When you destroy evidence, especially criminally like that, they did it criminally. And the reason they destroyed the evidence is because it proved that I was right. They didn't destroy evidence for no reason. They destroyed it because they found many documents saying that I offered 10,000 soldiers. If they had 500 soldiers or National Guard, there would have been no problem. If they had 200, that would have been. I offered 10,000 if they needed them. There would have been no problem. That's been now totally disproven. And it's also been disproven by Nancy Pelosi's daughter, who has her on tape saying it was her fault, that she has full responsibility for this. And they have all that stuff. They destroyed everything. And they go through a year and a half, 2 years of nonsense. They come up with tremendous evidence, and they destroyed evidence. And Schiff knew about it. That's why he's on there. He knew all about the destruction of evidence. A lot of people said he's the one that got him to do it. And he's a crooked guy, totally crooked politician. And so he's pardoned, and some other people are pardoned. And these are crooked politicians, every one of them. Benny Johnson, what he did is incredible. I mean, he was the leader of the committee, and he did it. Cheney, crying Adam Kinzinger, all of them. They destroyed evidence and deleted everything. There's nothing. There's no evidence now. They're crooked politicians, and they should be punished. That's even in a civil trial, you go to jail for a thing like that. They destroyed every document, from what I understand, every document, because it proved that I was totally innocent.
Do you plan to send up to 10,000 troops to the southern border, sir?
Yeah. Oh, southern border?
Yes,
when
the border.
When you say southern border, when I said 10,000 troops, I was referring to the capital.
Oh, I see. And when do you plan to do that?
10,000 troops for the capital before January 6th.
And as for the 1,500 at the southern border, sorry to clarify, what exactly do you want them to be doing right now?
Making sure that the border is safe and secure, and that criminals don't come into our country.
Mr. President, do you think that sanctions on Russia will force President Putin to negotiate?
I don't know, but I think he should make a deal.
Mr. President, does it bother you that Elon Musk criticized a deal that you made publicly, that he said that he tweeted that?
No, it doesn't. He hates one of the people in the deals.
Have you spoken to him since then?
No. I've spoken to Elon, but I've spoken to all of them, actually. No, the people in the deal are very, very smart people. But Elon, one of the people he happens to hate, but I have certain hatreds of people, too.
Sir,
Mr.
on China, what do you think Xi Jinping can do on the Ukraine-Russia war?
Which one?
The Ukraine-Russia war. What can Xi Jinping do about that?
China?
Yeah.
They have a lot of power over Russia. They supply energy to Russia. And Russia supplies energy to them. They supply other things to, it's really a very big trade. It's a very big trading partner. But Russia supplies a lot of energy to China. China pays them a lot of money for that. And I think they have a lot of power over Russia. So I think Russia should want to make a deal. Maybe they want to make a deal. I think from what I hear, Putin would like to see me, and we'll meet as soon as we can. I'd meet immediately. Every day we don't meet, soldiers are being killed in a battlefield. And that battlefield is like no battlefield since World War II.
You said that Ukraine wants
and
to...
I have pictures that you don't want to see. Soldiers are being killed on a daily basis at numbers that we haven't seen in decades. And it would be nice to end that war. It's a ridiculous war.
You said that Ukraine's ready to make a deal. Did President Zelensky tell you that personally?
Yeah, sure. He's ready to negotiate a deal. He'd like to stop. He's somebody that lost a lot of soldiers, and so did Russia. Lost a lot. Russia lost more soldiers. They lost 800,000 soldiers. Would you say that's a lot? I'd say it's a lot.
President, you said that you wanted to make Dr. King's dream a reality. What's your response to his children and civil rights leaders who say that your DEI orders are a contradiction of his dream and could further drive racial disparities?
Well, I haven't heard that.
Mr. President, you put the Houthis back on the terror list. How do you see the war in Yemen end?
Well, we'll see what happens, but they can't shoot down our ships, the Houthis.
Yes.
You can't shoot down our ships, or any ships, and that's what they've been doing. So they're on the terror list. That's not good for them.
So why did you revoke security protections for former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Brian Hook?
Well, the same reason I do. When you have protection, you can't have it for the rest of your life. Do you want to have a large detail of people guarding people for the rest of their lives? I mean, there's risks to everything.
So would you support striking Iran's nuclear facilities?
Say it?
Would you support Israel, for example, striking Iran's nuclear facilities?
Well, I'm
or
not
do you
going to
believe
answer
in
that.
diplomacy?
Obviously, I'm not going to answer that question. We'll have to see. I'm going to be meeting with various people over the next couple of days, and we'll see. But hopefully that can be worked out without having to worry about it. It would be nice. It would really be nice if that could be worked out without having to go that further step.
And who are you going to meet with?
Well, I'd rather not say that, but very high-level people. But hopefully that can be worked out. You know, look, Iran hopefully will make a deal, and if they don't make a deal, I guess that's okay too.
And Mr. President, just to follow up, you said you think the Fed should listen to you. Can you elaborate on why you think it should?
With regard to interest rates?
Correct, yes.
Because I think I know interest rates much better than they do. And I think I know it certainly much better than the one who's primarily in charge of making that decision. But no, I'm guided by them very much. But if I disagree, I will let it be known.
Sir, your tariffs plans for China and Mexico are much tougher. Or the ones for Canada and Mexico are much tougher than the one for China. Why is it softer for China?
Well, China's already paying a lot of tariffs because of me. And when you add them up, I would say, you know, they're paying a lot. They paid hundreds of billions of dollars. They never paid 10 cents until I came along. When I came along, they've paid hundreds of billions of dollars. Never paid anything. And so they've already started at a higher base.
Is February 1st the date for Chinese tariffs as well, sir? February 1, or was that just Mexico and Canada?
It's Mexico and Canada, but we're talking about China too. Look, China's sending us tremendous amounts of bad drugs, fentanyl, really bad stuff. Most of it comes through Mexico. And we're losing, I think, 300,000 lives a year because of that. People say 150, 100, 120. I think 300,000 lives a year. Those are old numbers. The lower number is a low number. And we can't have that. They've got to stop sending it. I had a deal with President Xi, but it was a deal that wasn't followed up by Biden, of course, where they were going to issue the death penalty to people that make fentanyl, and that would have stopped it. But we'll have to stop it with tariffs. Okay? Thank you very much, everybody.
All right, guys.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Hey, press, let's go. Thanks, guys. Nope, guys, let's go. Time to go. Thank you, guys.
All right, so a live feed there from inside the Oval Office. The press having that access to watch the executive orders be signed in real time. Speaking of real time, let's get Carla Sands' reaction here in just a minute. A number of executive orders signed right there. Not as many of the ones on Monday happened. So Carla, thanks so much for joining us here as it is just after 4 o'clock on the East Coast here on this Thursday, January 23rd. I'll let you have the floor. Which executive order would you like to pick?
Well, so I'm pretty excited about, well, all of them. First of all, God bless the Lumbee tribe. They want to be recognized. He's doing that because he promised them. Great. Promises made, promises kept. That's why we love President Trump. But he also said to RFK Jr. and to the American people that he was going to open the files on what happened, when they killed RFK Jr. and when they killed JFK. And so I'm when they killed RFK, the father of RFK Jr. or Bobby Kennedy, our new incoming HHS secretary. So I'm pretty excited to see the truth. Was it an inside job, which is what we've been kind of hearing about the last year or two, which is so disturbing and disappointing. But President Trump, with his transparency, is going to let the American people really open the books and see what happened to two great American heroes. And I love that he's keeping his word. And then the last one, Matthew, talking about President Trump releasing these poor people, like he said, many elderly people, some of them were grandmas in their 70s, arrested and jailed for praying outside of abortion clinics. And it makes me think of what's happening in the UK when I hear what they're doing, we're doing under the Biden administration and his DOJ to pro-life, mostly Christians. And they don't, they have a right not to want babies to be killed. They have a right to peacefully protest, which is what prayer is, right? We're appealing to God. And it is a peaceful means of protest at the same time. And so all of these people, whether they were in the waiting room or they were outside the hall or outside the building, people have been arrested by Biden's DOJ. Biden and Kamala Harris, I think, were the two most anti-Christian president and vice president that I've ever seen in our country's history.
So to your point, RFK Jr. now being able to see this executive order, if you remember when President Trump signed the executive order in real time about declassifying the documents, the records about the assassinations of JFK, RFK, and MLK, he said, go give this to RFK Jr. to see. That was a very, very powerful moment in time right there that we saw live here, Carla. And to your point, the Lumbee tribe, that is quite awesome in North Carolina, giving them, the ability to have federal benefits and the like. So a memorandum signed today by the president. And to your point again, 23 pro-life protesters that have dealt with the prosecution of the Biden administration are now free and free at last, right? So it's wonderful to see all of that happen there, Carla. Just a final question here for you. Do you think President Trump is done for the executive orders for this week? Do you think there's more tomorrow and over the weekend, next week? I mean, there's still more to go.
Right. Well, first I just wanted to mention MLK Jr., the great Dr. King. His niece, Dr. Alveda King, is an important leader at America First Policy Institute. She leads one of our centers, and she's a dear personal friend. I love Dr. King, and I'm sure she is heartened to be able to know the truth about what really happened to her great uncle. But I don't know if President Trump is done for the week. I know he's heading on those trips, like you said yesterday, tomorrow, he's heading tomorrow to North Carolina and then California. So he may be on the road a bit. Will he sign executive orders on the road? I don't know. He is certainly rolling them out and keeping us all like on the edge of our seats. What's next coming? Because it, like I said, is like Christmas every day right now. So I don't know if he'll continue over the weekend or if he's going to put them on hold until he's back in the White House next week. Your guess is as good as mine, Matthew.
Yeah, definitely. We'll keep an eye on it. Carla Sands, thank you so much again out of the America First Policy Institute. Your commentary, your analysis, and your friendship to us here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. Thank you again for making the time for us.
My pleasure.
All right, so there's Carla Sands with real-time reaction there as you take a live look at the White House. We'll go now to RSBN's Christina Loren to hear her reaction on all of these executive orders signed by President Trump there. We could possibly start on the 23 pro-life protesters, Christina, that are now set free, thanks be to God.
Thanks to the good Lord in heaven. And I think that those 23 pro-life protesters being pardoned, he mentioned it was a great honor to him. This is something that consistently came up when we were on the campaign trail talking to people in the crowds. They were so upset that these people who all they were doing was praying were arrested and then thrown into jail. When you saw what happened in Seattle, you saw what happened in Portland, rioters, none of which faced significant jail time. In fact, Kamala Harris was helping people raise funds to get out of jail. So this was a huge issue for people. And I know a lot of people have been waiting, even after the January 6th pardons came down, they were asking, I was reading a lot about it online, when is he going to pardon the pro-life protesters? And Matthew, for me and for you, I know as well, we are deeply involved in our faith. Our faith is everything to us. Being able to proclaim the love of Jesus and let people know about Jesus and just talk about him openly and freely, it's part of who we are. It's ingrained within us. And so many people have felt like they have to be quiet about it. They felt like they're pushed outside of the cool club if they talk about Jesus. But things have changed in this country, and it's a revival that we haven't seen since the time of Billy Graham. So what President Trump has done so far, and in his speech, acknowledging the fact that God saved him at this time in order for him to be able to make America great again, he is right on. There are no coincidences in this life. And so I think that everything is coming full circle. God always wins in the end. These people did not deserve jail time. They did not deserve to be locked up for praying publicly. And you know what's interesting about President Joe Biden? He's a man who allegedly would attend church services every Sunday. So the double standard, the message that he was sending was wrong, and we all knew it. And boy, Carla Sands, how fortunate are we to be able to tap into her wisdom on a regular basis here at RSBN. The renewal of Christianity in the United States under President Trump is remarkable. And I think it's only going to get stronger and stronger. I had a tear in my eye during the inaugural address afterward when we heard that song, Glory, Glory, Hallelujah. To be able to hear the Battle Hymn of the Republic played right there in the Capitol building with the beautiful acoustics, it's a moment that I'm not going to forget soon. I know a lot of people out there are right there with me. Also today, and you guys didn't really get a chance to talk about this, I know you've been on the air for so long, but the Senate voted to advance Pete Hegseth's nomination to be President Donald Trump's next Secretary of Defense. Now, this is huge because the vote came very close. It was 51-49, and does look like Pete Hegseth will be confirmed, and that is huge news. This is a story that we've been watching very closely. I think the greatest gift that Pete Hegseth has to offer the American public is his gift of communication. Not only is he a decorated soldier who served in both Afghanistan and Iraq, he is an amazing communicator, and he knows how to take orders because he was able to climb the ranks of the military. That's the way it goes. But he also knows how to communicate what's happening effectively. And for so long, the Biden administration, it felt like the right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing, especially when it came to the military. So I think he's a game changer, and that is big news that happened today as well. So just to echo your point, it does kind of feel like every day is Christmas. and I do believe he'll be rolling out more executive orders tomorrow. I just hope the man's able to get some rest. President Trump, take good care of yourself. We need you on top of your game all the time. So please get some rest. And we're so grateful to be able to cover these stories. And nobody else, I was checking everywhere. Nobody else was able to bring that live coverage. So good job on everything that you did today, Matthew.
Thank you, and to you too. Likewise, I mean, bringing you live here and Carla Sands' commentary, and also being able to bring all the live feeds that we had today. And while you were talking about Carla, I was thinking about Robert McNeely, our RSBN host, how he had a in-person interview with Carla Sands, the former ambassador to Denmark under President Trump, in Washington recently, that interview. So, things are coming together. We get that. But, Christina, at the end of the day, we're looking for that truth and that common sense, and just to report what we see here at the network. So RSBN's Christina Loren, look forward to seeing you again very soon for more commentary analysis. And also thank you for bringing that report about Pete Hegseth, one step closer to being our DOD secretary. On top of that, looking forward to Pam Bondi being the U.S. Attorney General, Kash Patel, the FBI, and on here. So RSBN's Christina Loren, thank you again. We'll see you here soon.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you. All right, so that's our live coverage for the day. Now, if there are any other news stories that break here on Right Side Broadcasting Network, you can follow us on Truth and X, but also if there's big enough breaking news in the sense of another announcement for more access to the White House, we can bring it live right here on the network as well. So 3 reports today. One about Brooke Rollins, her next step to being the Department of Agriculture secretary there. And then, of course, President Trump with the executive orders. And just a lot of news today throughout Washington, D.C. All right, let's thank some of our sponsors here, and I'll give you a program note here in just a second. But let's go to the great Colonial Metals Group. Colonial Metals Group, you see that information right there on the right side of your screen. That QR code is basically freegoldguide.com. So whether you use the QR code now if you'd like, or if you type in freegoldguide.com/RSBN, you get all the information you need for Colonial Metals Group when it comes to having gold as a backup plan within the IRA or a 401k. A great group there, and just interviewed the founder, Paul Stone, recently. You can see that interview just yesterday on our several links on Rumble and elsewhere that you guys watch. So let's go now to our next sponsor, Tax Network USA, 800-357-1415. You see the number there on your screen. Again, I prefer making a phone call like that, especially if it's finances and just ask the questions. It's a little easier than a website in this situation. But if you want to first vet the company, go ahead and do it. tnusa.com/RSBN. You won't be disappointed. This great group is there to help you along the way. 800-357-1415. let's shift over to Brightcore, mybrightcore.com. Kimchi One is the product you see right there on the right side of your screen. A lot of great health benefits by taking those capsules right there. It is real kimchi right there in those capsules. You can learn a lot about this specific product by going to mybrightcore.com/RSBN. You buy 2 of them, you get 1 free. This is definitely something to try, and watch how your health transforms. The owner there, Kim Bright, all about MAGA, all about making America healthy again. A great interview with her the other day, very based person, and it was wonderful to see that interview and also work with Brightcore, a great sponsor here at the network. Another great sponsor, angelpace.com. You can get 10% off by using the RSBN promo code. That's a company based in Spring, Texas. And of course, the Miracle Cream there, definitely good stuff. Check out the reviews as well, angelpace.com. We thank them for being an awesome sponsor. Let's move on to MyPillow, mypillow.com with the great Mike Lindell, of course. You can get a sizable percentage off there, up to 80% off of everything you see. So you can go to mypillow.com/RSBN, use that RSBN promo code. Also, if you'd like to donate to Right Side Broadcasting Network, all you do is text RSBN to 801-801. You see that information right there on your screen. You text RSBN to 801-801. Also, we have a newsletter if you'd like to check us out at rsbnetwork.com/newsletter. You see that information right there on your screen and the live picture from Washington, D.C. Tomorrow, Robert McNeely, myself, Matthew Alvarez, will be here live at 9 a.m. for RSBN Live as we continue to cover President Trump in this second administration. We will follow the president's schedule and see what he is up to, whether it's the trip to North Carolina tomorrow, whether it's the March for Life happening in Washington, D.C. There's various events happening in the nation's capital, but also if there are national breaking news stories or if there's any America First news, we will bring that to you as we are about common sense here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. For all of us at RSBN, I'm Matthew Alvarez. Guys, thank you so much for streaming in with us. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m., but also stay tuned on Truth Social at RSBN or at RSB Network on X. Also go to our website, download the app, do all the things, as they say. All right, I'm Matthew Alvarez. Have a great night, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, y'all, it's Silk from the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live Show. Look, don't forget to check me out right here on RSBN Network. Be sure to watch the show on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. Yes, it's imperative that you do so, okay? I look to see y'all soon. Bye-bye.
A large retail store just canceled a huge order, leaving us with a ton of extra MyPillows. But you know what? That's their loss. I'm going to make it your gain. For the first time ever, you get standard classic MyPillows for wholesale prices, only $14.88. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.88. But it gets even better. For a limited time, I'm going to offer my entire classic collection at wholesale prices. Upgrade to a queen-size MyPillow for just $18.88. King size only $1 more. Get my body pillows for $29.88 and multi-use MyPillows for only $9.88. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on the screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of wholesale pricing for the first time ever on TV, including my standard size MyPillow, only $14.88. They've never been offered this low before. We have limited quantities at this price, so limit's going to be 10, and once they're gone, they're gone.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First news. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed, so join us and be part of the right side of history.